Hello and good morning, everyone. OnlyPositivity here. I have my coffee with me, ready to explore this new phase of life with you all. So over the past few years, I have gained a whole new perspective on life, and I've realized that life is too short to not be enjoying yourself while doing great things. So come along with me as I explore this new lens through fitness, photography, reading, traveling, cannabis, and much more. Looking forward to the journey, guys. And remember, only positivity.
All right, and we're live, my dudes. Let's go, man. Dude, happy Friday, boys.
How you doing?
Happy Friday indeed.
Let's go, man.
I got my tea with me.
Got my White Claw with me, dude. Cracked open a tangerine white bitch. White Claw bitch.
I thought you were going to take back bitch for a second there, but you actually doubled down on it.
I missed a word, my dude. I'm sorry about that. White Claw, what's up?
Also tangerine.
Holler at me.
Best flavor.
Not sponsored yet, but
About to be sponsored by White Claw
It's in
any
the
minute,
works.
dude. You get the phone call. But yeah, man. Dude, I feel like it's been a good day, dude. Got a lot to celebrate this evening, man.
a lot of good occasions. The working class rising up against the man.
Look at that, dude.
And birthdays
All
too,
walks
I
of
guess.
life.
A 31-year-old man, boys.
Damn, dude. Yeah, man. I honestly don't feel like 30 hit as hard as it was going to, dude. I thought 30 was gonna wreck me, bro.
I
was gonna
agree.
start fucking getting arthritis and
I mean, speak for yourselves. I got some
nah, dude. That one's on you.
Some love handles over here, dude.
military-related injuries. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, man.
I just think it's interesting how differently 30 looks across a lot of different people.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, I know a lot of people in high school that are a train wreck right now, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's funny catching up with with people from high school. Do you ever anybody ever reach out to you from high school and want to reconnect?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of my friends are friends from high school.
Right. But
Like, for
anyone
real.
recent?
Recent?
that's been, from high
Someone that I haven't bumped into in a while?
school? Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like a year ago, I went to a party, like a New Year's party,
Yeah.
with a bunch of people from high school. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of interesting to see where everyone's at, like when you haven't caught up with them in 5 years, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Well, our high school also didn't have a reunion, so
That's true.
That's true because I think it was random side note, but it was the president. I think the president or whoever the class president at the time is supposed to try to organize it or coordinate it or whatever.
It's their responsibility.
Yeah, but our president they moved to the United Emirates and they're just fuck you guys.
Hey.
So
He did a music residency at a hotel in Dubai or some shit, dude.
Yeah.
For those,
So I wouldn't blame him for not to.
Wow, the best Western in
The
Dubai.
in Dubai.
The Best Western Dubai still has gold bed frame, so I would.
Intercontinental once a week.
But yeah, I mean, I can understand Wheaton Warrenville South 10-year reunion not being top of mind.
Dude.
Yeah.
So. And did you guys have a Facebook group and shit going for it?
No,
No.
never.
It just wasn't a thought.
No, or maybe just we weren't invited.
Dang.
Nah, man. I think it didn't happen.
I heard it
straight
happened,
up.
bro. Dave and Buster's.
Did you have a 10-year reunion?
So it was scheduled, but then 2020 would have been it. You know?
Oh,
okay.
that's
So
right,
you were right
yeah.
in the danger zone.
Right in the danger zone.
Mhm.
But instead of things related to the reunion in that Facebook group,
Yeah.
it was all people trying to promote their shit in there.
Oh,
You know?
sure, yeah. Everybody
So-
getting their high hustle on.
Check out my mixtape.
yeah, dude, check me out, dude. Only positivity. But they were dude, this one family, right? They posted this video of them, doing this racial equality rap that they thought slapped super hard, you know?
Yeah.
And they're yo, go this page and shit. I'm dude, this rap was the weakest shit I ever seen. They hired some local dancers to do it at their park and shit. You
They
know,
did a
park
choreograph?
district. I was
Oh,
dude,
man.
bro, not to throw shade.
Catch me at the VFW
Yeah.
stomping the yard.
Dude, right? At least get your sound system right. But yeah, man. No, other than that, dude, how's the new gig treating you, bro?
New
The
gig.
new gig?
New gig. It's all good. I mean, I feel like it's a really interesting time right now in that, the worker has more power than the employer, and the job market's good. So not only that, but like the hybrid remote world, like there's no stopping that now. So
Yeah, man. Dude, don't you feel like candor with like recruiters and things like that has to be like very like you're in the seat of like need and they're in power.
Yeah.
Like you know, like traditionally, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's so hard to switch that, like make that paradigm shift where like you're kind of on the same platform. It's like, dude, like if you're not making it appealing to me, I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's the first time I've ever had that.
What does candor mean? Is that like dynamic? What you gotta back it up, man.
Like the
ambiance, does that make
the
you
candor is
no.
like what is like what type of I mean I don't need no synonym to candor, but give me a second to think about it. So like it's like what level of respect are they speaking to you with? You know what I mean? Like what's their level of commitment to that relationship? You know, like am I gonna be respectful to you? Is like my candor with you like?
So it is like a dynamic between two people.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. But like like this is the time where like. I feel like it's really interesting to be like very direct with someone on what I want. That's not like my close friend or something. You know,
sure.
You know,
it's like they could have a more playful candor or something like that. But anyways, point being that I feel like it's very much like stepping up to like the bargaining table. Like, hey, this is what I got. This is what you got. Like, what's good? You know, you don't just get strung along much anymore. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, man, very interesting, dude. Yeah, like right now in you know at my work and everything like that, it's really tough because you know people are like leaving because it is a cannabis market and people are leaving and shit. But like we're all getting more work, and then the current workers are like, yo, pay me more if like you know what I mean. Like, so it's a weird like situation. Like the market is like really interesting right now, but
I kind of think that's also a product of like. Companies not giving raises anymore to their own internal employees, so it's like in order to go somewhere else, like you like to get a raise, you got to go somewhere else.
You got to leave.
So and now it's like really easy to go somewhere else because employers are looking for bodies. So I feel like now is a really good time to go ahead and get yourself a raise.
It is, but it's hard for something to view long term when they work quarter to quarter too.
Yeah.
You know, like what are our figures this quarter? What are figures? You know, that's just what it is for
like
most
it's all
places.
Based on the profit.
Exactly. So if you're being told that like, hey, we need to reinvest in this, you know, X, you know, employees or facilities or whatever it may be. So they don't leave, you know, they're like, oh, but that's going to take away from the bottom line this quarter. So it's an uphill battle from the start.
Really crazy, man. It's like even organizational culture I feel like is having to catch up to like you know like dude I don't know about I mean it seems like your company affords you those opportunities, but my company doesn't afford me a lot of opportunities for like professional development. So it's like I never thought that was like a cool thing. Like you know it's like I already work, why do I want to learn more shit you know afterwards? Like, but like you know sometimes it's cool to acquire new skills, and if your like company like gives you those opportunities and you know for free or like you know what I'm saying, they give you stipends and stuff, that goes a long way. I feel like for me now personally it's like are they going to cultivate you, are they going to invest in you and things like that? But
I think if you had to boil it down, I think it's a lot of trimming the fat in really any respects. Sure. So what I mean by that is like you don't have to deal with dumb conversations at the water cooler anymore. You know, it's like you don't have like so there's a little bit of a there's less of that office interaction in person, etc. But to your point, I think it's being reinforced with more, at least in my case, more opportunities to develop yourself or whatever. So it's like, hey, I don't have to deal with Debbie for 15 minutes at the water cooler, but you know now I got this cool workshop on that I'm doing with my director and manager or whatever, you know. So it's like, hey, we're going to do that for a half hour. So
dude,
there's just you're right, it has to be embraced to a degree by others in the organization or that you're working with, but you can definitely make remote things work and still have that, you know, connectivity with other people. It's just not the same as what everybody's used to. Totally. You know. So
no, I 100% agree with that. They like everyone's got to adapt, you know, like, and we're young, dude. It's like, you know, I could see somebody who's old as fuck. I mean, they should be able to adapt too, but like, you know, it's like we just have to shift with it, man. Like, make it productive, and you know, you just got to like focus on, you know, like how can you make it good right now? Like, you know, like don't think about when we're gonna go back to the office or like when that's gonna happen, but like how do you cultivate a good environment in this moment with your employees and shit like that?
Right.
but not to go too deep down that path. So you just got it, right? So you didn't have a job for a little bit and you just got that, right? But
Sure.
you're switching, right? You're jumping,
switching.
right? So did you have that conversation with yourself where you're like, yo, my current situation is like, it's good, but like, growth and stuff like that. Did you like balance that, like do that checks and balances? As you were thinking?
No, for sure, man. It's like at my current job, there just was not like any room for advancement unless I wanted to like be the manager of the department, which I like didn't want to do at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I like risk taking like a potentially shorter term opportunity to, like advance my career as a whole?
Yeah.
Which I kind of thought like the pros outweighed the cons of that. It's like I'm not going to get like a huge raise in my current department. Like we did merit increases and it was like 3%. It's like, motherfucker, that's like inflation is twice that. Like, you gotta. I just feel like you gotta vouch for yourself in the current job market, man. Like if you want to make more money, you have to jump ship.
Yeah.
And that might involve like a risk. Like I really liked working with my coworkers a lot.
Yeah.
Which is like a huge part of it. But like when you're working remote, like how big a part of it is that? It's like tolerating people remotely is way easier than tolerating people like in person sometimes, I think.
Agree, dude. Cause like we were talking about this before, but like, dude, what about trying to take a break like in the office? Like, I'll like read a few pages or fold some laundry or do something productive, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like in the office, like what do you do for a break when you don't look at the screen? Like look at something else.
Look at the other corner of your desk. Yeah.
Look productive.
It's like, just the whole idea of getting up and like getting your shit together to go drive to an office. I feel like if you can do that shit at home, it's just, I'm fucking preaching to the choir.
Stare at your screensaver.
Ooh, when the fucking...
See them pipes coming.
When the ball hit the corner.
Hey! Curvy Microsoft pipes.
Dude, yeah, man. Y'all on Microsoft Teams or what?
On Google, son, actually.
Google?
Funny enough.
Dude,
Google Suite.
Future,
Google
dude.
Suite, man.
We got Teams.
AIM?
We had Teams.
Oh.
AIM? Yeah, no.
Screen names out there.
AIM. I don't know, government jobs. That's when I was in the Marines. They would Windows 98
dude,
still on all them computers.
Always lagging, dude.
But actually, granted, I will. In some places, I always explain that they want to keep some of the old, more analog systems, just because, I guess, to some degree, they're harder to break into. Something like that. Like you have to be like literally on site to do some shit with them.
Yeah,
so
I believe it, man.
Who knows?
Yeah, they're more like was it hardware?
Yeah.
There's like fucking
Yeah.
drive.
Solid state.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Solid state, dude.
Need a Tom Cruise in there, fucking.
You can't hack my shit. You can't hack my shit unless you have an Ethernet cable plugged into my shit.
And a floppy disk.
And a floppy
Max
disk.
security.
Good luck finding one of those now.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But dude, I went to Sunnyside. They're running these specials right now. Have you guys gone to the dispensary recently?
Yeah, I actually went to my first Illinois dispensary. Was it like a week or two ago? It was interesting. It was yeah, it was. I mean, pricey, but it was done well.
It was like
sponsorship. What up?
So Sunnyside. Fuck with your
Send
boy.
us some koozies.
Sundyside. Is that how you say it? I'm just fucking with you.
You tell me you went there.
No, dude. So I go there, and so like when I used to pick up like a half or something like that, it was like $200, like around there, like street prices for weed, But like they were having a special where it was like around like $190, and I'm like, that's what I like used to pay, you know what I mean? So I'll go grab that shit. So I grab like a half of like actual bud and not like shake and shit like that, because that's what I would normally grab. It's like a lot cheaper, but they have all these like coupons right now, so I'm just fucking bitch. What's the one out here? Zenleaf?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good
It's just kind of nutty, like moving back, especially because I moved away and then just moved back to Illinois. I just remember seeing a billboard on I-88, and it was always a billboard for CDH, like Central DuPage Hospital,
Nice.
or Northwestern Medicine.
Yeah.
But then coming back into town, it's now a Zen Leaf
They've
billboard.
been
It's
ousted.
literally a dispensary billboard
You've
now.
been ousted.
So it's just funny, like literally my entire life that's been like the hospital has just kind of owned that billboard. Now there's a pineapple like with like buds around it. So 2021, man.
What's up, dude? You never know. Yeah, dude. I always like that there's that backfall option, man. Like if shit ain't working out for me and I just can't like figure out a connect or something like that, and just like go to the dispensary, figure it out, dude. I can just make a reservation online, pay a little bit more for that convenience.
Curbside.
Yeah.
What's up, Dave? How you doing? Pound it. The usual. Yeah, man. But when I went to Oregon, I got a bunch of shit, dude. I got like a half. I got lighters. I got papers. I got everything for like $50. I got a grinder too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, man? You know, they're out here getting us, dude.
It's only a matter of time until it becomes cheaper.
Maybe, dude. You know something?
I don't know shit.
You got the inside scoop?
I don't know shit, man.
You bastard.
If you got the inside scoop to economics inside Illinois, you good luck.
Dude, do you guys know anything about like growing weed or anything? Cause I don't know.
I got a green thumb. I think eventually I'll give it a whirl.
You got mad succulents up there, dude.
Yeah. No, I like plants.
Yeah.
So I think it's just about doing a little more research on it.
Yeah, dude. One of my
doing
buddies,
it the right way.
Do your parents have like plants and shit like that?
No,
at
actually,
home?
funny enough, like I didn't grow up like at all with any of that. So
yeah.
Really, shout out to my ex. I guess she had a bunch of plants.
Holla.
I like plants now, so I'll take that. So
I feel like growing weed would be a massive like trial and error process. Like the same thing with like making your own beer. You ever talk to somebody who's like tried to brew their own beer?
No.
Like
Yeah, it's a big thing.
I mean, I just feel like it's a huge time commitment. Like it's probably gonna be like maybe a year before you actually figure out like the right combination of like the right like lighting and like the intervals for lighting and when to water it and when to use like what pesticides and all that shit. I don't know. It's definitely probably closer to like an art form than anything else.
Yeah, you gotta like. A lot of it might be like science, but a lot of it might be just like feeling it out and knowing when it's right to do what.
Sure.
One of my buddies' dad. So I was at his parents' house like a few months ago, and I walk in, and a lot of like Indian parents, they have like a lot of like basil leaves and stuff like that, like growing in the house.
Sure.
You know, so they're big into that. And so I walk in, and there's like this weed lamp. Just pointing on one of like his parents' like bush, you know what I mean, or like one of their like plants, and I'm like I look at him like he's like yo, like his dad came over to help him like move out, and like he's like yo, can I have this lamp for my plants? So like now he like keeps this like fucking like LED lamp on his like basil leaves at all times.
Nice.
So goofy, dude. But yeah, man. No, I'm surprised that like your parents don't have like any type of like fucking
it's
spice in their house.
We're a plant fam.
Yeah.
So
Does Spanish food like do they have a lot of like spice like that, like from like leaves and stuff?
it kind of, yeah, they do. I think that's kind of a cultural bookmark for just about everybody, having certain spices, you know, like curries and such, and a massive generalization there, but like paprika is a big one in Spain, like paprikas, smoked paprikas, you know, sweet and hot, and I don't know, it's used a lot, but but the spices, it's just more about kind of punchy flavor rather than actual, you know, spiciness and such.
No, dude, because like there's legit curry leaves, right? And that's what a lot of like our food is based on, you know? It's a lot of like green shit that they throw into like the fucking curry, you know, that gives it the actual flavor. So like, you know, I feel like a lot of like ethnic foods like have that type of shit in there, at least in the eastern part of the world. I don't know much about like Europe and shit, dude.
Yeah, come on now.
There's curry leaves?
Yeah.
Is that like the essence of all curry? Like it grows like as a leaf?
Yeah, like most curries have like that like curry leaves in there, you know, and that's what gives it that like scent and smell. Maybe I'm wrong, dude. Who knows? But yeah,
me fooled.
Yeah, man. When we went to Maison Sabica, dude, I've been recommending that shit to literally anyone who will listen to me, dude. You should go there, dude.
Dude, stuff was good.
Yeah, man.
I'll find me a lady friend, then you and me and Alyssa can go. We'll go all out there. That's a good place to impress a girl.
Dude, and the thing about it is, I don't know. It's like she's really into like small plates, you know, like not big entrees.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a girl thing, dude.
Yeah.
I could be being mad sexist right there, but you know, like she likes the small plates. So like those like potatoes and things like that would be right up her alley. So we should definitely go there. My boy here can tag
us,
along.
man. The Spanish got it down. Because you can try so many different things.
Sit in the back.
You don't unless you get the American approach to something. Give you a triple quarter pounder of a certain thing.
Yeah.
You're getting it all at once.
Can I get the pita in?
Can I get one of something and make it extremely sized?
Shawarma. But yeah, man. You know, for some reason, because like we've been like Spanish has been the term. You know, I feel like the buzzword as of late.
Sure.
We've been like Spanish food and shit. I was thinking that, and like you were gonna go to Spain and shit, you know. So I guess that's like why I made a generalization. I totally forgot that like you're Venezuelan, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I guess by blood. So my dad's side, my dad was born. His side of the family is from Venezuela. My mom is from Spain. So.
Oh, so
my mom's.
I'm kind of right in that generalization.
No, you were. Yeah. So I mean, if you want to boil it 50-50, I was born in Venezuela though.
Yeah.
So yeah. I identify with kind of both cultures in a way. So
yeah, is there like a seriously stark difference between Venezuelan culture and Spanish culture?
Not stark, but I mean, there's obviously influence. Like the Spanish went over there and kind of did some bad shit for a good long while, but you know their influence is there, and then Venezuelans ultimately a culmination of Spanish and the indigenous cultures mashing together.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of funny because Venezuela, there's in name and I guess in the language there's some Italian influence as well.
Sure. Because
Venezuela, I guess, is in one form or another translates to Little Venice.
Okay.
So, which is random, but and then like there we don't say adios. Like adios is like to say goodbye to each other. We say ciao.
Okay.
Which is Italian.
Sure.
So I just thought that was interesting too.
That is interesting. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So we say ciao a lot. So I've actually gotten called, like I'll be on the phone with my parents, doing my thing, and then hanging up and say ciao, and then like somebody like just overhears me, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you Italian?" And then start speaking Italian to me, and I can kind of understand them,
sure,
because of Spanish. But it's like, whoa, back up, buddy. So not the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of Argentinian people as well have like serious Italian influence too.
Yeah.
Like all the soccer players, a lot of them have like that Italian heritage as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel like Spanish probably has a lot of those like Latin roots that Italian does, so you can kind of make out those same words,
It is. Like I could, if I got lost in Italy or France or Portugal, like I'd be okay. I could get around.
Yeah.
I could make out what the signs are
Definitely.
saying, give or take.
Yeah.
So.
When did you guys come to America?
So we came in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Which was good timing. More accidental than not. But because I mean the 90s was business was booming, both in the US and down in Venezuela, .com era, and then Venezuela was just pumping out oil. So like they were top of the top, back then. But my dad got a job offer in the U.S., which was great because like what he was working in, he worked for like a couple of the energy companies down there, and there was like two. So and he'd already worked for both. So it was one of those where like there wasn't a market for him anymore. After clawing for a little bit, got something in the U.S. and we moved in '98. And then again, I said accidental more than not, just because around then Hugo Chavez got elected, which he would kind of ended up becoming the dictator that he's known being for, but ultimately it just started like a regular man of the people election, he's et cetera, and so but then he stayed in power for like 16 years or something like that. Anyways, so they got out like right when Hugo Chavez was coming in, and then pretty much the economic downturn just kept on going, and it's just been like a slow decline. It's not really a snowball, more like just like falling into a tar pit. So it's the mass inflation and all that shit that's going on. So we were glad to get out of that and move up here.
was coming to America like something that Venezuelan people like covet, or was it just like not Venezuela? Like at least it's better than this shit.
Well, that's the thing. It is now. Like at the time we did it, it's like, where are you going? Like there's money everywhere. Like like I said, like Venezuela was pumping out oil money, and so we were at the time. It was definitely odd. But then my family came here. We got our footing. Got a job and started building, etc. Then like the mid 2000s hit and like 2010s, and I was like, oh shit, Venezuelans are trying to get out of the. So the whole thing is like I can't even go to Venezuela right now because a Venezuelan citizen has to fly out of Venezuela with their Venezuelan passports.
Oh,
but the whole catch is that it's impossible to get a Venezuelan passport right now. So if I fly into Venezuela, they won't let me get out.
Oh, fuck
like.
that.
Yeah, literally. So, like, unfortunately, my dad's father, my grandpa, passed away 2 years ago. My dad couldn't go to the funeral because, like, he just wasn't, like, he didn't have his passport in time. Like, he didn't have a Venezuelan passport that was current, and, like, wasn't going to chance, like, you got to grease the right hands in the right offices to, like, get your paperwork to get you processed. It's not USPS like here. So... that's just other little factors you don't think about. So
100, dude. I mean, like, of course, like, gotta unpack a lot of what you just said. But like, dude, I just recently renewed my fucking passport, and I thought it was difficult, right? Like, because there's a bunch of shit you gotta fill out, but it was actually relatively streamlined. But I can only imagine like what it's like trying to get a passport and get your documentation. I'm not saying Venezuela's a third world country, but I'm not saying it's like, it's definitely not as sophisticated structure as the United States, So that would probably be such a nightmare to even start with. And the fact that like you risk not being able to come back, that's a big one. And what a conundrum for your dad, where it's like, he's got to go to like a funeral and he's got to risk all this and weigh that out, man. It's kind of, it's like a bogus situation, dude.
Yeah. Zachy boy dying over here.
Yeah, dude.
Sorry to disturb.
Well, and that's the whole. I'm not the government and red tape and bureaucracy is kind of slow just by nature, but at least the process of like immigration too, like getting your green card, getting your residency, and all that, like like it's not it took like 10 years or so for my family to get it, so it takes a while. Like you got to put in the right paperwork, you miss one T or one I, like you got to do that again, like then there's like different waiting lists and return times on certain things. Like you put in this paperwork in, we'll get back to you within the next calendar year, and then you got that next paperwork, then you got to put that to it, and then it's another year turnaround for that one. So it takes a while. You got to keep up with it, and all that, and then life can hit you at any point through all that too. Like you get laid off, and like, oh shit, like that happened. Like my dad got laid off at a point where he had his green card, but he didn't have his citizenship. So you're sponsored by a company to be in the U.S. and work. So that's one of those where like, what do you do? So so I guess it's more common now in the more digital world to bring people in from outside the country and sponsorships and stuff like that. But back then it wasn't as common either. So that's just another concern too.
Oh man, I feel like, dude, every immigrant that comes to America has like such a tough story. You know what I mean? Like they got to America like through some kind of fucking fire, and. Yeah, there's another like attestation of that, man. It's just crazy, dude. But you spent like a good amount of time then, so you were like probably like what, like you in 5th, 6th grade when you came here?
I was in 3rd grade.
Third grade.
So I remember in 3rd grade. Yeah. So I mean, I remember my childhood and
you
all that, and
that,
so it's. But I mean, it was a huge culture shock because I didn't speak English. That just one right there, like language barrier right there. But let alone any other societal like little things. So. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those where you get the opportunity, you move to the U.S., you start something new. It's like I got to bring one of my toys from Venezuela. Other than that, nothing.
What was it? Dude?
It was honestly, I think it was like a little Fisher Price like knight guy. It was like a little castle, with like a knight and king and whatever. So yeah, I ended up getting the little castle set when I was back in the U.S. So it was all right. It was all good.
Yeah, but blow up, dude.
Is like the lengthy application process to become a citizen, like, uniquely American? Like, what about the flip side, like an American trying to get citizenship in Spain or, like, India? Like, how long does that take compared to vice versa?
I mean, I can't speak to that because you're talking about the laws of that country. I don't know specifically. I did, like, Spain. I'll give you an example of Spain. It's not as hard, but it's harder in a different way. And what I mean by that is, so, like, to go to Spain, you got to get, by blood, either married in. Okay. So if you marry a Spanish girl, boom, you're in, whatever. But if you want to do it yourself, it's a similar case where you'd have to be sponsored by a company. It's like, hey, you have to bring value to Spain to move here. Yeah. You're not just going to sit here, but because they do have pretty good, like, medical systems and all, socialized care. Sure. What are you doing to input into that? But on the flip side, what makes it hard is that their economy's not doing great right now, and actually, I think something like 40% of their entire workforce is just employed. So what that means is they have around 60% of just contract workers. So 60% of workers are all contract. So that just makes its own issues of, like, a lot of people don't have certain benefits, and you're just, like, always on the cusp of, like, losing your job, and you just gotta find another contract, et cetera, et cetera. So there's very few jobs, period, right there. So the chance of getting a sponsorship is pretty hard. So, anyways, that's not to go too long on that route, but it's not that it's easy to get citizenships in other countries. It's just harder in different ways. So, and the U.S. just has a general case of not only, like, the process itself, it's just the demand too. It's just those wait lists gets longer, then wait lists gets longer and longer. Then obviously, like, the process itself gets longer. So yeah.
So is it like you feel like people coming to America is just like, I don't want to live in my country anymore, whereas Spain, it's like, what value do you bring to the company, and therefore we will expedite that?
Kind of, to a degree. Yeah, like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you have money and you're moving to a different country, especially one that is not as economically well, they'll accept you. Same way that the U.S., like, if you have money, you can accelerate your citizenship. That's what you can do. That. That's how Justin Bieber popped one out in, like, 3 years or some shit like that. So,
because he's.
I'm not. Like, I'm not. That's basically what it is. It's like, what value are you bringing to the country?
Yeah.
And cash is king. So sure.
Dude, and like so when did your dad link up with your mom?
So they met in Venezuela. So that's the thing. There's pretty, I guess, similar to, like, us in the UK. There's a pretty good connection between Venezuela and Spain. A lot of people have relatives there, back and forth, etc. So my mom grew up kind of in both countries, but she ended up getting a job in Venezuela, and they met at work. So
that's what's up, dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Like, that's actually a pretty normal story, dude. I feel like so many, like, immigrant families, I don't know if you, like, maybe family, like, they put, like, adverts in papers and shit to, like, that they're single and stuff. A lot of Indian, like, old Indian stories are like that. Like, my parents met that way. Like, my dad put an advert
newspaper,
in the
that Craigslist relationship.
Yeah, dude. Like, how
really funny enough, they actually
photo shoot.
Funny enough, they when I've talked to them about it, they actually met through, like, they almost had, like, a club at work for single people.
Okay.
So that's what it was. It was like, here's single employees, and they'd had, like, outings, like, they're gonna do a beach trip for a weekend, and, like, all this
benefit, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
lifetime membership.
Facilitated hookup.
Yeah. So they had,
with my wife,
like, beach trips and stuff, and yeah, I guess that's how they met.
That is awesome, man. That is like that is a hopeful love story right there.
Yeah. Now we got Tinder and Bumble.
Dude, I mean, fuck. Dude, at least we don't got the newspaper, man. That's you're in a
find you an old soul there.
A long-term road for resentment right there.
Wait, so you're saying your dad, like, your mom found your dad in a newspaper?
I don't know I don't know how that works, right? Like, is that where you look, like, for a mate?
Your classifieds,
like, right in the
answer
adverts?
the question, dude.
I wasn't there, so I don't know, dude. I'm trying to figure it out too, man. We should all go over there for dinner and just ask her.
I'll ask her.
Spring it on her, dude.
You're
always talking about her. Any case, so yeah, like, I don't know exactly, like, but she's like, I met him in a newspaper. I saw him in a newspaper ad, and I'm like, all right. So then they, like, made a connection after. There's, like, contact information, right? So I guess they fucking the Pony Express sent him a fucking letter fucking 90 days later, and he got it and met up, But it wasn't in a, like, scheduled beach hang, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
What did your dad do?
What? What do you mean?
For a living.
What did he do like before he retired?
Yeah.
Or like he
no, like in India or he came from Africa, right?
So my dad's from Africa.
Yeah.
My dad's from like Tanzania and like, this place called Zanzibar. He says.
Did your dad never live in Africa or in India?
No.
Oh.
Never. At least from what I know.
Okay.
So
what he told you.
Yeah. He didn't like work over there, right? So he was young when he came to America. He was probably like 16, you know. But he said his dad was like a fisherman. Like I don't know.
He said his dad was a fisherman.
Good fish in America.
He was one of those dudes who had a shop. Like the fishermen would pick up like bait and stuff like that.
Oh,
and, like,
sure. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, so he had a little bait shop.
That was your dad's dad did that?
Yeah, my grandfather.
Do you know what your dad did?
No, he didn't like work in Africa really.
Oh.
He came over when he was young. So he came here.
Oh, I see.
And he like went to college in Seattle. He went to University of Washington.
Oh, nice.
And
your dad probably smoked so much weed.
I guarantee it. He won't admit it.
I think he did.
But he calls it
what year? Like the 70s?
He says reefa. Now with the ER, no ERs with like an AH. At the end. Like, all right, dude, call it that.
That's pretty cool.
What year was that? It's got to be in the 70s or 80s, right?
Dude, my dad said he was in school when Ted Bundy was doing his thing.
Oh, damn.
Right? And that's like in the 70s, right?
Did that happen in Seattle?
Yeah.
Damn.
Dude, everything bad like happens in Seattle, like Oregon.
It is a weird... we were there at an odd time. I mean, literally, it was the record highest temperatures of 100 degrees. But Seattle is an odd... Or just like kind of the Washington coast is an odd place just because of... Like, it is the area, like, it's cloudy and foggy and just, like, humid, and it just, like, it does breed a kind of, like, odd, I don't know, just...
Dude, there's very, like, is it, like, eccentric or, like, eclectic people out there, you know, just, like, doing their own thing, like, not worrying about it. Like, we went to, when we went to Oregon, right, I thought it was, like, May 31st, it was Labor Day weekend, or Memorial Day weekend, right, and I thought it was going to be hot over there. But when it's on the coast, it's kind of chilly, man. You need a jacket and everything like that. And I could see like being outside is like you can only do that for so long out there because it gets cold, you know. And when we were on these like beaches and stuff, like I was walking on the beach and like there's a dude like, you know, playing a guitar, like singing, and there's like a group of like dudes just like rocking to it.
You stumble on a drum circle.
Yeah, like I walk a little bit farther. There's like a girl laying in a guy's lap, and they're just like kind of like, you know, just he's like stroking her hair, and I'm like, dude, where the fuck am I at right now? You know? It's like a bunch of like interesting individuals out there.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude. But yeah, like when you're anyway, not to fucking derail super hard on the fucking eclectic folk. But when your parents came here, did they know other folks here, or did they come blind?
Well, that's the thing. Like close to any hub, you know, like Chicago, New York, etc. You're gonna find, you know, at least some little pocket of a immigrant population, you know. So I mean, the number one places, at least for Venezuelans, or a lot of South Americans, like Miami, Florida, you know, somewhere around there. Sure. But they didn't move there. They went to Chicago. And fortunately they were one of the first. Like there was another family that like my parents, they knew like way back when in Venezuela, and then, you know, just slowly connecting through that social circle of, you know, other immigrant families, maybe not strictly Venezuelans, but, you know, Colombian, Argentinian, you know, etc. They just were in a similar boat. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's like they didn't know any better, right? Like, so like if you were to move somewhere right now, like in the suburbs, you would probably, or anywhere, you probably have a strategy in place. Like you would know about the weather there, you would know about like, you know, what the cost of living is. You know, you would do that full analysis. But they just came over here. Yo, Chicago sounds good, and we're gonna make it work. You know, like that's pretty ballsy, man. Like,
yeah, you say it like we're gonna make it work. That's a lot of what it is. It's just like you could tell it's better. You know, it's not like trying to what's the term, like the grass is greener type of thing. It's really not that. Like it's very clearly greener, and we're gonna make it work over there. Yeah. So that's.
I just like I gotta commend, you know, like even there's like so like not to be all dark about it, but like there's a good host of immigrants that come here and turn to like alcoholism and stuff because they can't like make it, you know what I mean? Like it's tough for them to make it, and you know, you gotta commend the ones that come here and like, you know, they like put some roots down, had a family, like, and things like that, because dude, I mean, like America, like I know they come over here for like this dream, right? That they think it's gonna like rain and like money and like they're gonna have like wealth and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not all that,
Yeah.
Like it definitely has its like darker sides, and they come here and they have to like come to terms with that too. That's not this utopia and everything like that. So every story that comes out of like that realization is like one I think that's like very very like humbling,
Yeah. It depends on the culture too. I mean, at least some Latin American cultures, super. You could say the Indian too, super family oriented.
Yeah.
So a lot of family. I remember, like growing up, like I was literally at my grandma's house all the time. Like I slept at my house, but it was like she would babysit me a lot.
Yeah.
Or like there were just other kids there. We would just do that kind of stuff. Or just at my aunt's house a lot. So it's just that like closer family bond than you're moving to literally by yourself in these other cities. It's like you said, some people can't handle it, but fortunately we found that little pocket of immigrants, and then that's how it is. You help each other babysit, you help each other look for jobs or cooking or whatever it may be, find housing. So
it's interesting, man. It's very interesting. Do you think like as a as like your not to like as the firstborn like in the family, was there any pressure like on you like coming up?
I mean, I never felt like
anything outside the norm.
No, I don't think maybe outside the norm. Like I just always strive to do well, or well enough in school. Stay out of trouble, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But my parents were never like, you're gonna be a doctor or else. Like that kind of. There was never that kind of like, we moved to the U.S., you're gonna be a doctor. Damn it. There was never that, which is fortunate because I know others are in other cases. So yeah, no, they're very supportive in that way.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Like it's good that they don't put any like guilt on their kids, man. Like I feel like there's opportunity for that, right? When you come here and you claim to give it all up, right? You make this risk for like your kids that didn't really know better, right? They didn't ask for any of that, and you could easily throw it on them, right? But it's good like that, like they came over here, right? They wanted this life, they came over here, maybe not knowing like what was gonna happen, but they made something out of it, and to see like you guys like thriving and stuff is like kind of like a joy for them, from what it seems. So
yeah. I mean, I feel like, not that this is a boundary I want to push, like, hey mom, I'm quitting, I'm going to be a comedian or whatever, but I feel like it's pretty clear cut, like they know we have a better life here than anything we could have down there, so it's just pretty clear cut there, like he doesn't have to be a doctor, like he could do whatever he wants, and it's just going to be point blank better than growing up in Venezuela. So
you ever do you ever talk to your dad or your mom about like their journeys and stuff like that? I know you experienced, right? Like for like 10 years or so, you were like living out there in Venezuela and stuff like that. So you knew that part of it, right?
Yeah.
But do you ever talk to them about like how they got here and what they were thinking when they came and stuff?
Yeah, so my dad came to college in the U.S., so he wasn't like foreign, and he knew English coming to the U.S. obviously, so he was ahead of us in that way, because when we moved to the U.S., he was the only one that knew English. Nobody else did. So it wasn't as much of a shock for him, but my mom was in the dark about it all. She's like, all right, well, here it goes, that kind of a thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. What, like, did they have like thoughts about it? Like, were they nervous? Like, what?
I mean, obviously there's the nervousness with just that big of a shift, like moving your entire life and family and all that to not only a different place, but different culture, different language, all that.
Yeah.
So, my dad weighed all those risks and all that. So, I mean, he moved to the U.S. first, so he lived here for several months, kind of like getting the lay of the land, getting an apartment, all that kind of stuff. So to make it as easy of a transition as you possibly could, for my mom and I and my sister. But my mom was just kind of in the dark until just riding it as it came. So bless her heart for that, because it's like that's what she learned English watching TV, just putting subtitles on and like just live, because what else can you do? Just immerse yourself in the culture and society that you're in now and try to learn as much as you can. So
I just like I gotta give it to him, like the spontaneity of things and like the faith that it's gonna be okay. Like, dude, like how many moves do you make where you don't already kind of know the outcome? Right? That's pretty much everything that I do. Like everything I do, I kind of know what the outcome's gonna be. I don't do a lot of things where I don't know, like 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting, and that's like that takes some fucking guts, right? To say, dude, like your mom learned English through watching TV, like, bro, like that. I don't know about all that, dude. You know, it's like tough to like just be like, I'll go over there, I'll figure it out. You know, that's like a pretty resilient quality to have.
It's a leap of faith for sure. That's what it is. Leap of faith. It's like they didn't have money for the round trip back. It's just like this is what we got, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Did you have any culture shock like that?
100%. Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't know the language. Period.
Yeah.
Well, actually, funny enough, my parents, so I came here in grade school. They didn't know better. I mean, my dad didn't know better. They just like signed me up for grade school, and so they sent me up for like a regular ass like school. And I show up, I have no idea. I can't speak English, dude. I'm just going to the classroom. They're like, like, and they're like, so Samuel Schwartz is like the name I'm used to, and then they're calling me like Sam. Like it's not even clicking that's my name.
Sure.
So the first thing I remember really vividly, because it was such a culture shock. The first thing they do is do attendance. So they're going down the list, calling names, and I see they're like saying names, and like a kid stands up when they call the name.
Yeah.
And they got through the whole list, and I'm like the last kid sitting down, and I just see them like, well, I'm the odd one out. I'll just stand up. So I just stand up. And the lady's like, no, what's your name? And I'm just like, okay, I sit back down. And she's like, no, what's your name? I was like, okay, so I stand back up. I'm like, what does she want? I can't tell what she wants. And then, like, by process of elimination, she saw she didn't cross one name off, like Samuel Schwartz. And she was like, Samuel Schwartz? And I was Schwartz? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay, fine. Pleasant. So, cool. I made it through attendance, the first 10 seconds of school. After that, I have no idea what she's talking about on drawing on the wall. And so it took the teachers like a week to realize I straight up did not know English. Like they thought maybe I was like shy or slow or something. Like no, this dude doesn't know English.
Wow.
So then my parents got like called and talked to and all that, and they're like, no, he needs to go to like a special program like ESL to like learn English and shit.
Damn. Dude,
so crazy. For a week I was going to school having no idea what's going on.
Dude. Tax dollars, dude. Wasted. That's so funny, man. Yeah, dude. And then so you said you were in third grade, right?
Yeah.
Was it tough to like kind of just like assimilate real quick, or was it?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, one is just like getting the language down.
Yeah.
So it's like
after that.
And then after that, no, not too. I went to a small grade school, so I think like by nature that was really small. You know,
sure.
We got tight with everybody, but more than it was frustrating for several years because learning so many different things about English, like. There's so many exceptions to the rule, so you just sound like a dumbass a lot. You know, especially like early teens too. That's like such a, like fragile age for like being bullied and shit. So like just like not knowing how to spell shit or say shit the right way. And,
man, like
English be tripping.
Dude, I feel like. Did you take a different language in high school or anything?
I took like 3 or 4 years of Spanish in high school.
Spanish,
actually,
right?
Yeah.
Did you ever try to speak it in front of Spanish, or people who spoke Spanish?
Yeah, no. I mean, I used to work at Rosati's Pizza in Warrenville.
So what does that mean, dude?
All the chefs straight up Mexican, dude.
And you could converse with them?
No, absolutely not. They talk way too fast, bro.
So like
too much slang in there too.
Like,
man.
did you try to get in there? Did you try to speak?
Sure. Yeah. No, they were like cool about it, man. They like wanted to like facilitate my learning of Spanish, which was awesome.
Dude, like, see, that matters so much.
Oh, yeah.
When you're coming into a new language, like. If people are gonna be receptive to you trying and like guide you along the path, you're so much more willing to learn.
Sure.
Like when so growing up, like when I can speak like my language fluently, right? I can speak Gujarati fluently, but like when I was trying to learn, what put me off of it a lot was like a lot of these like aunties and stuff. They would like make fun of you for fucking up.
Oh yeah, they
and that would turn you off big time. And like I went to Ireland with one of my buddies recently, and he had a family member out there who had like a couple daughters, and we went and visited them, right? And they spoke like Arabic, English, like an Indian language, like all Lebanese, like all this different shit. And I was like, wow, dude, like y'all got some confidence, like, just like kind of make a few mistakes in front of people and learn shit, because dude, people are pretty savage when you're trying to learn something new and you look stupid,
For sure, they'll roast you.
Yeah, it always amazes me when someone just like speaks multiple languages. And it's like so uncommon in the United States, but I feel like that's very common in other countries where like couple different languages.
Yeah, it's like something like that, like they value, you know, just kind of being like diversified and shit like that.
And it's like at least in my high school, it was like you could take French, you could take Spanish, or I think German too, right?
Yeah, German too.
It's like, can I get some more options, please? It's like, how do you not take Spanish, like, out of those three things? You know, I just feel like that's the most, like useful utilitarian option, man. It's like, I might actually get something out of this if I take Spanish.
I would love to be able to, like, actually speak Spanish properly, man.
It's going back to just, like, the receptiveness, too, about, like, your, like, the chefs and all that.
Yeah.
Just funny enough, I was just thinking of my mom, because, like I said, she learned a lot from, like, trying to read and watching TV. But then she got to a certain point where that's what it is. You got to be conversational. You know, you got to be around it, like, in that way. So she signed up for, like, a Spanish class, or I'm sorry, an English class. That's what it is, like, learning English.
Yeah.
But she found, like, so it was all other immigrants. So it was just, like, super choppy, you know, like, hi, how are you? Good, thank you. You know, like, this, like, that. And it's, like, not to, like, talk shit on others, but she was, like, kind of past that. It was like, I need to figure out how to, like, talk with people. And you're not going to learn that by talking with people who don't know how to talk with people.
Right, yeah.
So she signed up for a French class, an intro to French class, at just like the community college, and took that with English-speaking people. She like had enough of a grasp, but she needed to just converse more, and that's what it is. Like even like she, like French wasn't the goal.
Yeah,
it was just to go in there and like converse with other people, and then you know they could like chop together some basic French together. But she gets the opportunity to converse in English with them. So it was just kind of funny how she told me she went about that. And, like, that was so much better because that's what it was. She was talking with people who were, like, native English, and they're, like... But they're also in the mindset of, like, a new language, so they, like, understand her and her accent. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure, we can, you know, help out with basic conversations and doing this assignment and, you know, that kind of a thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, so she, like, sought that out. You
Yeah.
know? She was, like, trying to, like, you know... assimilate, you know, and that's cool, you know. I feel like if you try to go to a different country, like you want to do that, you know, you want to like keep your own flavor, but like you want to mesh into society, make new friends, make connections, you know.
See, but the other spectrum of that too is that so we have some like distant relatives, like third cousins in Miami, and actually funny, I forget what the suburb is. There's like a little section of Miami that's literally known as like Little Venezuela. That's like the #1 concentration of Venezuelans outside of Venezuela, but point being is that like sometimes you can get like literally just like ingrained in those pockets that like I have family members that like straight up don't know English. Like they've lived in the U.S. for like close to a decade. They still don't know English because there's no need for them to. They go to the grocery store. They got their shit. They they watch whatever channels they want on TV. They don't have to learn English. So it is kind of crazy because you can find yourself on the other side of the spectrum of that too.
They're pretty much in their own little pocket.
Exactly. Yeah.
Their own kind, you know. Dude, that is exactly what happens with Indian culture too. You know, like everyone seeks out their own. Dude, they'll seek out their own brand of Indian too. You know, like I am like from this part of India.
Yeah.
So let's all hang out. You know, like we're all from the same part. Yeah, it's just funny. Like they'll come a lot. You know, it's like what the mind, the body needs to like feel secure. You know, it's like they need that safe zone, right? They need that arena of familiarity. But not everyone does. You know, some people are totally fine with like just, you know, having their family and like branching out, making their own community, you know, like, and like that's why I never fault like immigrants for like doing anything, because it's like you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like my parents joined like a legit religious group when they came because they didn't know what else to do, you know, and that's how I grew up in that little bubble, right? So, but it's like, you know, I don't fault them for that. It's like how the fuck did you know anything else? You know, you came from like this third world country that, you know, didn't give you the proper tools to like really just make the, you know, put your best foot forward. But yeah, man, it's just like an interesting story every time I hear like something like this.
Yeah, I'm white, guys.
Whitey.
For the record,
My parents met on an apartment complex tennis court.
Hey,
What's up?
met at the golf club.
That's a true
They
story.
met at the Red Robin.
That's a true story.
They met at the golf course?
No, tennis court. Tennis court.
What'd they do over there?
They fucking played tennis, bro.
tennis?
My parents were mad good at tennis, like for real.
So you say your dad played your mom?
I mean, I don't know how it went
That's
exactly.
Your dad's part, dude. Like,
oh,
what if
you
he
know
was
they had to have
He
flexed.
flexed on her real hard, man. He shut her ass out.
Got Maker over there.
I'm saying there's got to be a scoreboard somewhere. There's got to be a tally board
I don't know
somewhere.
if that's a romantic story, bro.
No, but my parents were like legit like ranked tennis players like in the state of Illinois.
Dude.
Like, for real.
Are you good at tennis?
I was all right, man.
He's
like,
got a little. He's got an arm.
Yeah, my parents like not like forced me to take tennis lessons, but they like wanted me to like be involved in it because they were like all about it. So I was like, all right, like I wasn't that mad about it.
Were they all child prodigy about it or no?
No. They weren't like trying to make me a professional tennis player. They just like wanted me to like do it, you know.
I'm just trying to gauge the seriousness of it.
And like my head like wasn't like in it at the time,
Yeah.
you know. I liked it, and I like kind of did like some tournaments like at whatever like course that I played at, but I kind of wish I like pursued it a little bit like after that, like into high school.
Yeah.
Because like at that point, like I started like watching like tennis with my parents, you know, like they watched like Wimbledon and the U.S. Open and all that shit. I feel like that would be awesome to be a professional tennis player.
It's just funny, like, you know, when someone tells you what to do when you're a kid, like, you naturally rebel against it, right? There's a lot of things that, like, we could have taken, like, opportunities, like, you know, musically, whatever it is, right? And we could have, like, if we weren't too cool for it, maybe it would have been, like, a passion or something like that, you know? We would have, like, really, like, you know, splurged on what we did and shit. But, like, you know, you never feel that way when you're a kid. Everything feels like a fucking obligation, and if someone pushes it down your throat, you have, like, someone that, like, kind of keeps you from doing it further, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I think a lot of kids are lazy, and, like, that initial, like, push from their parents, like, actually leads them to discover something that they actually are, like, passionate about. Like, I wasn't interested in music at all. My parents, like, forced me to take piano lessons. And I got like fired by my piano teacher, bro, because I couldn't find like middle C.
You got fired as a student?
Dude, I got fired as a student, dude. He had to let me go. I was not.
What in addition
I wasn't getting it done, dude. I was not getting it done.
Not finding the C was the straw that broke
he's
the
like,
back,
this
dude.
dumbass, like, I've been coming here 3 days a week for 6 weeks, and this dude cannot find middle C. But, like, I just wasn't like interested and like invested in it, and then like my dad like saw my dad like playing guitar, so I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna try that shit.
Yeah. But like,
I wouldn't have been interested in guitar probably if they didn't like at least try to expose me to music in the first place by playing piano.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and they weren't forceful about it, right? Which is good.
I mean, they just wanted me to like get my head out of my ass. You know, it's like you need to like attempt to like apply yourself in some shit. You know.
I literally texted you that today, didn't I? To pull your head out of your ass.
You really
that
did.
was in that conversation.
That happened, dude.
You've been doing that since childhood.
Dude.
That's what it seems like, dude. Dude, it's like a fine balance, man. Like as I've gotten like, you know, as you see like, you know, we're getting a little older, right? So you see like people younger than you and like what their parents are doing to them and stuff like that, and you realize it's like a fine balance, right? Of like kind of like nudging the motherfucker in the right direction, but not like being overbearing about it. But sometimes you gotta be, you know, like, dude, parenting is such a fucking trip, man. It's wild.
I mean, you're the married man, dog. You're closer to that shit than I am.
Excuse me.
Hopefully, though.
Dude, no. I actually just got a vasectomy this morning.
Hey, they
just
congrats.
Cheers. Boys.
Shout out to CDH.
So shout out to Nick.
There's definitely, like, as a parent, there's definitely, like, that fine line between, like, do I let my kid have, like, complete autonomy in what he wants to do?
Yeah.
Is he a lazy ass who's never gonna do anything unless I force him to do it, you know? It's like how much trust do parents have in their own kids to, like, figure out what they want to do? It's like
as a parent, it's like, am I keeping all my shit aside? Am I not trying to project any of my issues onto my child by like making him do this activity? You know, it's like there's so many things to think about when you're managing someone else's like fucking life, you know? And like, dude, you know, I was reading this Jordan Peterson book. It's like, you know, when you're like disciplining your child, it's like you have to realize your own capacity to be like cruel just in general when you're like talking to your kid and bringing them up and stuff like that, right? And I'm just like, man, you gotta take that into consideration, but also put them in activities and shit so they thrive as adults. Hell no.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree, like, you have to force them to do something if you don't like recognize their natural interest in something.
Dude, I'm not like, I never like telling people what to do.
Yeah,
like, it's just not something I don't know. I just don't. Maybe if I had a kid, I might. Not to get all down that path.
See, I think I was in an interesting place where I was self-aware enough that I needed that. And that's why I like voluntarily got my ass kicked by going to the Marines at 18. That's what it was. It's like I like kind of know things, but I know I don't, and I know I'm not going to be disciplined enough to do it myself. So I'm just going to sign up to get my ass kicked. And it did. I was good. I learned some good habits. Had to learn some bad ones, but ultimately, that's what it is. But that gives me also now a better gauge of when I do need to be like more of an ass about some things, you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily means that I'm going to do it more often. It's just I think I can kind of see that scale a little bit better now too. So
it's just dude. It's very subjective. You don't. There's no right answer, and like I think one thing. I don't know if this is an accurate statement, but I think a fitness based like regimen for your child could be good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like let them know that like the underlying like part of your like schema and your life going forward should be like health. Like you should always try to do activities around your health being intact. Don't do shit that's gonna fuck your health up. And I think that's a good start. Maybe not. It's not the right start.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's one thing I'd take because a lot of like immigrants, right? They come to this country. Maybe it's not an immigrant thing, but like they come to this country and they don't know how to eat. Right? They eat fucking fast food all the time, like, or they don't know the like that cooking everything in oil is like bad for you, like those things, those social determinants of health. Like it's very cultural, I don't know if you have any of that type of shit. Like, is there a condition prevalent in like the population that you come from?
No, so not specifically but it's to point. It's just kind of like keeping old world thinking, but also another point of it is just the abundance in the U.S. is that you can get everything so easy now, so that's another part of it too. So you could call it gluttony, but maybe that's aggressive. But at least, shout out Mexicans. I like Mexicans. But yeah, like the Mexican population now has a huge problem where like I think over 40% of them are obese. Not overweight, they're obese.
Yeah.
That's what it is. There's so much oil and sugar.
There's like heart disease like prevalent in that population.
Yeah. And so that's what it is that one, just the general diet isn't great, but and it's so easily accessible, and then two, it's just the knowledge and trying to undo that thinking.
100%, man. It's just like it's just the knowledge base that people came here with was very minimal, and that's like something that's always astounding to me. Like my parents had no idea about food literacy, like we ate Taco Bell probably 2-3 times a week, and it's like it's like you can't be and
are you saying there's something wrong with that?
Culver's, sorry. It's just like feeding children, like so like a lot of kids are finicky about eating, so whatever they'll eat.
Sure, exactly.
But it's like at a certain point, like you should let them learn about like nutrition, right? Like that's something that's got like a long-term like health benefit, right? But it's like how could they? Like that wasn't the thing that was being pressed on there, at the time period.
Yeah. No, it's funny because same thing. I was pretty open about that. Same thing with my sister. It was like growing up, we ate like fresh things. So my parents were like on the other end of that spectrum, where like we came here and like we weren't allowed to have like gushers and like fruit by the foot and all that shit. Like what is there? Like what is that? No. So I was fortunate in that sense. But it could easily go the complete other way, and it's like, hey, whatever kids eat, they'll eat, and it'll get them to shut up.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because like I see you like meal prepping like chicken and rice. Like I remember even in 2018, remember we came to that ASAP concert?
Yeah.
Like there was like one meal that we made was just like chicken and rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. That like I don't know if that you learned that from your parents or like from whatever, because like that's like what you need in a meal, right? You need protein and carbs.
Yeah.
But like I know that now as like a 30-year-old man. I might have learned that a year or two ago, and like white meat and like a clean carb, But like I was never taught that growing up. It was all like naan and like like all that stuff like that and very like oily stuff. But like did you pick that up or did you pick that up recently?
No, I picked that up just through fitness and like powerlifting and weightlifting in college. So kind of like watching your macros and all that. And I should have eaten more veggies than I do. I should still eat more veggies than I do. But so it was more kind of that. And then kind of maybe some of the Marine stuff, just like thinking ahead and like planning, like having a meal always kind of a thing too. But then funny enough, just to tie the Marines in real quick, it was funny like going into boot camp, because like you could tell some of those, you know, like 18-year-old guys I'm going in there with were exactly like that. Like they just eaten their fucking churros, whatever. Granted, you had to be in shape. Like you couldn't be a fat ass going to Marine Corps boot camp. But like you could tell they had no discipline in that sense. But so when you get to boot camp, they tell you you get fed a ton of food because you use so many calories. But they're like, you have to have two vegetables, 2 fruits, and then the meal, and you have to eat it in that order.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they'll watch it. Like, if you start not eating a fruit or a veggie, like, if
they
first,
literally
like,
micromanage you, like,
oh yeah, they walk all up and down the tables screaming, like, all that shit. Like, and they're like, if they see you do it, they're gonna make you do enough push-ups to puke up all your food afterwards. So, like, don't fuck it up. Like, it's, you're gonna eat your fruits, you're gonna eat your veggies. So it's like this dude that's, like, never eaten broccoli before is like, you know, like that, when it's, you know, it's just a whole different world to them, but, like, you had to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Damn. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's like, you know, the so again, to the point about the dude with the churros and shit like that. Like, not to generalize that motherfucker, but like that's some shit that he had no like better chance on. You know what I'm saying? Like, he probably came from some motherfuckers that were eating churros, like, and just not giving a fuck. You know, for a long history. You know.
No, I'm not saying he's like completely awesome now, but I bet you he eats a few more vegetables now than he would otherwise, though.
100%.
So
right, like exactly, like that's the thing, like your, like, to go back to like the other point was like your routine should be revolved around kind of like health. I feel like in some regard, if you're trying to like just like live a life that's spry, right? If you want to be up and about it, like you gotta like live a life that's like centered around your health. But I don't want to give any more advice, you know.
This is not medical advice.
Not medical advice. I don't know a damn thing. But yeah, man. Nah, dude. Other than that, man, I'm super fucking stoked for our Arizona trip.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that shit.
Sedona. Yeah, you'd never been in a desert. That's kind of cool. I'm excited for it. There's you'll get to experience a couple different.
I have been in the desert.
You've been in the desert?
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, man. I feel like you know, it's like I can appreciate the organization that's behind the effort, dude. I'm like when I'll plan stuff, I'll get like real into it like that, and I'm like, you know, you're on there.
I'm gonna get my itinerary. You're gonna have suggested eating spots, you know.
Dude, you know, like it's interesting. Like I was never a planner like that, right? I was always like, yo, we'll go there, we'll figure it out, we'll get it done. But then it's like, when someone else does it, you're like, oh, dude, that's a class fucking act, dude. I'm gonna go ahead and do my research. I'm gonna bring someone to the table here, boys.
I mean, I allow for some spontaneity. Don't get me wrong, no, but you know, I just like to think of it as I always got a card in my pocket. You know, dude. Whatever. You know,
I don't know. I want to know every hour you're gonna roast me on that trip. Dude. I want to know every hour I'm gonna do something wrong. Oh. Yeah, man. But dude, no, I've never been to Arizona. So like we when I was younger and I was like 16, I think, I was like in this like traveling soccer team and we had a tournament out in Arizona, right? So we landed in Phoenix and there was some kind of emergency with the tournament where it got canceled, and then we turned right back around.
Damn, like so literally hot back on that plane?
So I technically have been to Arizona, but I haven't done a damn thing.
No, so you gotta go out in that desert.
Drop the deuce in Arizona, come right back. You know, I do things. You been to Arizona?
Yeah. We stopped out there like on a road trip.
Yeah.
But we also, I mean, we're in like Utah and like other shit
Moab,
too,
Utah
man. Moab, Utah. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of
all
the same general like desert like area though, landscape. Dude, you don't wave your hand at me, man. You don't know what you're talking about.
The Sonoran Desert,
the Mojave Desert. Let's go.
Yeah,
keep naming more deserts.
Sonoran Deserts in the Arizona. That's where we'll be over there.
Dude, I read this book by Roberto Bolaño. I don't know if you know that.
No, off the top of my head.
It's just like some book. He's like a Hispanic author, right?
Okay.
And he wrote this book about like murders and stuff. It's a fiction book. And it's all these murders in the Sonora Desert. And it's a trippy ass book.
We'll go out there, dog. That's where we're going.
Yeah, dude. So let's go get murdered, boys. But I think, dude, we did an hour, man. I think that's a solid amount to do, dude. Let's go get some steak.
Count it.
A little ratchet.